Hi, this is Cam Clark, and this is Leonardo from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. Listen to the Justin Harvey Show, Cowabunga! And Rocksteady here. I like Justin Harvey too, Leonardo. His wheelchair is so cool. Can I go for a ride?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Harvey here of the Justin Harvey Show. I know it's been a long time since I've done a broadcast, but today's edition is a very special edition. This friend of mine that I'm bringing on today needs no introduction to the show. He's been on several occasions, and we're going to talk about something very, very special today. And first off, let me welcome him to the show. David Worth, how you doing, my brother? How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, and just to give the audience some background, this was a couple of years ago, or it actually might have been during COVID. I can't remember, but me and you were having a general conversation, and you had mentioned to me, and I'm not sure how this actually accidentally come up, but you had mentioned to me that you actually worked on Bloodsport 3, and you actually saved it from being shelved.
Yes, that's true.
And ever since you told me that, I've really wanted to talk to you about this and get this on public record because, as you know, I said kickboxer. I'm sorry, David. Bloodsport is my favorite film of all time, as you know, and I've actually seen Bloodsport 3, and it just really intrigued me about this story. So how did you end up working on Bloodsport 3? Take me through the whole process on how you end up saving the film, obviously.
Well, I was doing True Vengeance with Daniel Bernhardt, and Daniel had starred in the Bloodsport 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me Bloodsport 3 was awful, that the producer director never showed up on the set when they were in Thailand, etc. That was just a mess. I said, well, let me see it when we're done. So we finished True Vengeance, and we had a great time with that. I looked at Bloodsport 3. I said, burn it. It's awful. They said, well, we can't because we need some of the revenue back. We need to make some kind of a profit. So I came up with the whole story of Kurt Sloan and his son, not Kurt Sloan, the Bloodsport guy, and his son going off and going fishing, and him talking to his son about some of the things that were happening in the film, etc. And so we shot that and re-edited it, and they sold it. So that was basically it. I just did it as a favor because of working on True Vengeance with Daniel.
Yes. So basically, if it wasn't for you, David, the film probably would have been shelved, and it probably would have stopped at Bloodsport 2. So.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with it. It was just sitting. They had people who looked at it, didn't know what to do with it. I came up with a solution and fixed it. No problem.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Dave, I actually remember that storyline because the kid that's in the story, he actually gets suspended for fighting in school, and then Daniel starts to tell him about how he's the champion of the Kumite. So.
Yes.
So I thought that was a great story. And what was you about to tell me, Dave, before I accidentally interrupted? I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. I don't know what I was saying. I was just commenting that I was happy the film got out there and was salvageable. I went through every bit of outtake. It was just awful. And I had to come up with another story to make it work. And we worked with him and his son doing that, going camping and having that chat and all that, and it worked.
And I'm glad that you did do the film and you saved it, because Bloodsport is still a franchise, even though the sequels weren't as good as the first. They're still it's still a franchise.
The same problem with Kickboxer. The same problem.
Yeah. Speaking of that, and we don't have to touch much on this, but I actually heard in an interview that you did that you would like to maybe revisit Kickboxer and do a true sequel.
Yes, I actually have a script together, treatment together on it. I've contacted everyone. The only person not on board yet is Mr. Van Dam. He's busy doing other projects. If we get him, we'll go to Bangkok and make it. And all the other people from the original Bloodsport Kickboxer are in. All the other crew and cast, even Paul Herzog still agreed to do the music. But we'll see. I would love to do it because I hated all the sequels to Kickboxer. They were stupid and dumb. They were only there to make money. We did it with heart when we did Kickboxer. And that's how this pays no attention to any of the other sequels. It is just a sequel based on the original Kickboxer story. That's it.
Yeah, and we need something like that. And believe it or not, David, Van Damme has been talking about retiring from acting. I believe that this Bloodsport, I got Bloodsport on the mind, David. I believe that this Kickboxer revisit movie would be like the perfect film for him to finish his career on if he decided to retire. I think that would be perfect for the fans.
That's how I designed it.
Yeah. I think that would absolutely be perfect, because even in the Kickboxer remakes, they totally missed the mark big time on those.
Yeah, I know, it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
They just did it because they bought the title and they could make a movie and make some money. That was it. They didn't do it with any heart.
Yeah. And one thing that I kind of wanted to revisit with you, David, because I never really got the chance to ask you this, but Tom Poe actually told me that in the original script of Kickboxer, Tom Poe goes to Kurt's house or something and accidentally kicks his mother or something, or knocks her out or something.
Not in any script I've worked on.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Not on any script I worked on with Kickboxer.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I must have been misinformed, and sometimes that can happen in the movie industry. So. Yeah.
Everybody has a story, that's for sure.
Yeah. And real quickly, David, since we've already touched on the Bloodsport 3 topic, I was on YouTube last month, and I watched a movie that you actually did with Cynthia Rothrock.
Oh, Lady Dragon and Lady Dragon 2 in Indonesia, yes.
Yeah. How did that come about?
Well, I was sitting having coffee, and the son of Sunil Santani, of the producer, was at USC, and he called, wanted to come by and talk to me. I said, sure. Came by and asked if I would come and do a Cynthia Rothrock movie in Indonesia. Since I was between films or unemployed at the time, I agreed. I didn't even know where Indonesia was, but I needed the work. And I went out. I came up with. They had a story. It was awful. I came up with Lady Dragon, and had a friend of mine do the script. It was really tough. And then I went out and did the movie. It was very hard. Probably one of the hardest productions I've ever done because they were not up to par in technically in doing the film. The crew just couldn't cut it. I had to take over doing the cinematography and the directing, and it was very hard. I thought it was going to kill me, but it didn't. Instead, it made me stronger.
Yeah.
And so I then went on and did Lady Dragon. Lady Dragon became the first film. The company had made 75 movies, all of them bad. And they had never sold anything internationally. But they sold Lady Dragon internationally. And I came back and did Lady Dragon 2, which wasn't called Lady Dragon 2. It was called Angel of Fury. And we wanted to do something completely different with Cynthia. Completely different cast. I had Billy Drago and Sam Jones as character actors as heavies. They were fantastic. And after the film was delivered and completed, the distribution company wanted to change the title to Lady Dragon 2, even though none of the characters or the story has anything to do with Lady Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that. I did those two films, and then in Indonesia it was very hard, but it toughened me up. And then I went directly to Israel, did Chain of Command with Michael Dudikoff and Todd Curtis and etc.
That's awesome, David. And I wanted to ask you one more question about Bloodsport 3. A lot of people may not realize, but believe it or not, Pat Morita was in Bloodsport 3. What was it like working with Pat Morita, the late Pat Morita?
What was he in Bloodsport 3? What part? I don't think I worked with him. I think he was only in the part that I didn't do.
He was the businessman that actually helped Alex Cardo find the trainer to fight in the Kumite. So.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't think I worked with him. I only did the American portion.
Yeah. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, you worked on Any Which Way You Can. What was it like working with an actual orangutan monkey like Clyde? That looked like it would be a lot of fun.
I'm like what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
What was it like working with an actual monkey like Clyde? That would have been a lot of fun on Any Which Way You Can.
I'm sorry, which actor was it?
The monkey Clyde that was in Any Which Way You Can with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Yes, those two Clint Eastwood films were wonderful to work on. And fortunately for me, I had met Sandra Locke. I had done a little movie called Death Game. The producer called me because the director had just fired the cinematographer, and the producer knew my work. Wanted me to come and do it. I said, I don't know if I want to inherit somebody else's mess. Who's in it? They said, Sandra Locke, Seymour Casillo, Chloe Camp. I said, okay, I'm in. Because I knew Sandra Locke had been the Academy Award nominee for Hard as a Lonely Hunter. Seymour was an Academy Award nominee for a film with John Cassavetes, Faces. So I said, I'm in. And we had 13 days to finish the film, and I shot 130, 140, 150,000 feet of film in 13 days using Panavision Panaflex Gamma. It was almost 90% of it was handheld, so that we didn't have to set up the camera on sticks and move it here and there. I could move very quickly, and we got it done.
Wow.
A few weeks later, the director asked Sandra and I to come look at a cut. It was one of the worst pieces of crap I'd ever seen. I kept calling out in the screening, where's this shot? Where's that shot? Where's this shot? Where's that shot? So afterwards, the director took me and Sandra back to the editing room, and I fixed the scene for him. I said, "What is this? This editor is shit." So he fired the editor, and I was now the cinematographer and editor on Death Game. That's where I really, really put in some time and got the work done. And the God's production smiled on me. I was down doing getting ready for the final mix on it. And you have to put all the actors' sound on a separate reel for the sound mix so you can set the levels. And in between the actors' dialogue, you put in, this is way back in the old days, you put in fill leader, which were old 35 millimeter prints of old movies. So I called them Lab. It was a lab. I said, please send me another box of fill leader. I need to finish these actor soundtracks. I got the box of fill leader, and what was in it? It was Clockwork Orange, a 35 millimeter print of a Clockwork Orange. The gods of production smiled on me that day. I took all my work off the moviola, put Mr. Kubrick's work on, and studied it frame by frame, scene by scene, shot by shot. Are you familiar with the Clockwork Orange?
Actually, I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, I came to a scene in it where Mr. Kubrick is following little Alex Smoking McDowell and the cat lady around the room, shooting 360 degrees, handheld. And I saw all four walls, the floor and the ceiling, because he's using a 16 millimeter lens, and there were no movie lights. This is a Stanley Kubrick film. It was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. There were no movie lights. He was using all practical lights. It blew my mind. And I said, okay, that's my style. That's what I'm going to do from now on, because if it's good enough for Mr. Kubrick, it's certainly good enough for me. That's what I brought to Bronco Billy. I brought that style. I used practical lights everywhere. I hung the big tent inside the big tent, circus tent. I hung that with the theatrical lights. I could shoot 360 degrees in all my sets and never move a light. As a result, that film came in 2.5 weeks under schedule on my first Union film, my first Major Star film, my first Warner Brothers film. I saved the production over $1 million. And Clint said, we got another one starting up in about a month. Why don't you hang around? So I got two films. That's what I did, Any Which Way You Can. So those films, and Clyde was just a joy to work with. Clyde was fantastic. And he would always come in on the set and kiss everyone, kiss Clint and Sandra, grab a beer and drink it. He was amazing.
So
I'm
he
sorry,
would actually drink beer for real. That's amazing.
Pardon?
He would actually drink beer for real. That's amazing. That is amazing.
That's how the God's production really smiled on me when they sent me that box of Clockwork Orange, because it enabled me to learn firsthand Stanley Kubrick's method of lighting. I could run it over and over, forward and back. I'd seen the film many times, but it was in the theaters. There were no DVDs then. 1974, 75. And the projectors would never run the film again for you to study.
Yeah.
So it was just luckily that I could put it on a moviola and run it and study it. And that is where I gleaned that gem of cinematography from Mr. Kubrick.
Yeah, I remember growing up, David, I would on VHS, and I watched it so much, and parts of it, the thing would bounce where I actually wore the tape out from watching it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Do you think that because a lot of movie companies want to use AI for like movies now? Do you think that's going to cause a real danger for the actors and the creators? Do you think that AI is going to be a real danger here in the future, David? Or?
Well, I don't think anything's a danger. I think it's all how it's used. I mean, we had silent movies, and then we had sound movies, and then we had color movies, then we had widescreen movies, and we had independent films, and now we have AI. I think it can be. I think that people have to be careful, but it's every step in technology is something that can be used for plus or minus. You just have to be careful.
Yeah. Just like with everything, because you can basically film now with your telephone now. So it's...
Oh yes, Steven Soderbergh does all his films on his iPhone.
Mhm.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, very, very amazing. And Dave, I just wanted to say thank you for being my friend all these years, because I remember when we first met, I actually found your phone number and just called you up, and then we've been friends ever since.
My pleasure, young man. I really admire you. I love all your work. I love your programs. I love your tenacity. And I'm thrilled to talk with you today.
I'm thrilled to have you, and I'm not going to keep you too much longer, Dave, because I know you get busy. But what would you like my audience to know, before I, in this podcast?
Well, I don't know. I think everyone should be kind and gentle with each other, and shouldn't hate. We should love and do the best we can to make sure that that's our legacy, and not hate and violence and war and all that. But then I'm a whole hippie. What can I tell you?
Yeah, we're all human. We all bleed the same blood. We just need to, we all just need to promote peace, and sometimes take a chill pill, and step back and think, because life is short. It's over with a blink of an eye. So,
yes.
So, do you still do social media a lot, David? Or, tell my audience how they can find you or contact you, because I'm sure they might have questions.
I'm easy to find. Anyone can send me an email at davidworthfilm@gmail.com. David Worth Film, all lowercase letters, all one word, DAVIDWORTHFILM@gmail.com. Happy to hear from you.
Okay, and you guys can reach me at the Justin Harvey Show at gmail.com. And this has been a special presentation of the Justin Harvey Show, and thank you for listening.